Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our latest weekly Gomo demonstration. And this week is a rather special extended edition because we're going to be introducing Gomo's new AI assistant. We're very excited to be able to show that to you. And as you could expect, we've had a huge turnout in terms of people registering for this. So I want to make sure that everybody can tune in and be ready before we launch into the main webinar itself. So just going to give it another few minutes. And fortunate today to be joined by Simon Waldron, our product manager, and he's going to be introducing himself shortly. But just while we wait for everyone to join, one thing that we occasionally do in these sessions is we do a bit of a global weather report. This is a way for us to get used to using the chat panel that you'll see there. You'll see the little button in your GoToWebinar panel with the chat, and also you'll see that the question panel. So in fact, we're going to use the question panel here just to get going, and we're just going to do a bit of the global weather report. So if you could just pop into the question panel and just let us know where you are. What the weather's like where you are. So I'm here on the south coast of England in a place called Brighton. I'm looking out at the seaside, and it's actually brightening up. It's looking warm and sunny out there for once after the torrential typical rain that we have. And and I can see that it's sunny in Lancashire in England. Oh, Philip's saying it's raining in Birmingham. And yeah, if we do something else, I think it's the rain that we had this morning down south there. And Sue's saying you're in North Wiltshire in England and it's grey but muggy. Yeah, it's getting to that time of year, isn't it? Where once it rains and the sun comes out as well, then it's just gets very, very humid. So thank you, everyone. Keep those weather reports coming in. And for those of you who just joined, welcome to the webinar. We will be starting in just a few moments. We can see lots of people tuning in today, so welcome to that. And what we're doing is a bit of fun, is to just ask people about where they're from and what the weather is like where you are at the moment. And I can see that April's saying that she's in Bristol, but this is Bristol, Tennessee, in the US. Light rain and mild temperatures. Well, it sounds, even though you're a long way away from us, April, it sounds as if you're having about the same weather as we're having here in England. But you're very welcome today. And I can see that we still have some more people joining. That's fantastic. And to those of you who have just joined, welcome. This is our very special weekly Gomo demonstration. And it's an extended edition where we're going to be introducing Gomo's new AI assistant. We're really, really excited to be able to show that to you and give you a bit of a sneak preview as well of some of the features that we'll be releasing soon. So let me just check how we're doing here. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for your global weather report there. Let's actually get going. And so I'll just introduce myself more formally. So I'm Hugh Edwards here in the Gomo team. And those of you who've been on other weekly webinars, you'll be familiar with me and these sessions. And today we're looking at Gomo's new AI assistant. So what I'm going to do is hand over to Simon to introduce us and give us a bit of background to what we're doing in AI here. So thank you, Simon. Over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Hugh, and thank you for the global weather check. It's always wonderful to see our attendees from all over the world. And yeah, I think we are sharing very similar weather, ironically. So very excited about today. As you've mentioned, we are going to be showing not only the features that we have, but also features that are coming. And also, for the first time on one of these webinars, we're going to be giving a sneak peek into some of the things that actually haven't been released yet. So fingers crossed, as with anything live, all of that goes to plan, but you'll be the first people to see if it does or it does not. So a little bit more about me. I'm Simon Waldron. I'm responsible for product management. I've been working within LTG for nearly 5 years now. And some people I can see who's in the audience today have actually already met me in person. But also you may have heard me on previous roadmap webinars I'm typically the sort of excited person talking about Gomo and content creation. Um, I have extensive sort of experience of working with both the commercial and educational sectors because I actually started my career in education, working to look at the key elements that inspire learning in young people. But now I work to inspire and encourage the participation of learning using the latest technologies. Gomo has always been about allowing users to create that world-class content without the need for in-depth instructional design or technical experience. But today's generative AI technology is a perfect fit for that philosophy, opening up new avenues through which Gomo users can create a seamless authoring experience. And it doesn't compromise on the output quality. And as you'll see here on our first slide and what you've received on the invitations, we now have the ability to supercharge your learning design workflows with our new lineup of AI-driven capabilities. So not only is it easy to create your beautiful content-rich courses, the Gomo AI Assistant can help you reach that finish line sooner. And crucially, you'll hear a lot about AI at the moment. It's very much the big buzz, as Hugh and I was at the most recent e-learning sort of exhibitions. Um, it's really important that AI features also work alongside human activity. And we're very much positioning AI within Gomo as being your assistant, is to help you create your content or help you finish your content, as you may see later on in this presentation. Course reviews and conclusions, they're an excellent way to bolster the content authoring workflows while building on a core of human-made work. We're also maintaining our single-click XLIF exporting feature for translations, so users always have the option to combine the ease of AI translation with an extra level and oversight that human translators bring to the table. And the message there is that you don't need to use AI for everything. You can use it in combination with the features and methods we already have in Gomo today. So no matter how your users, how we all want to use Gomo, you can be sure of a frictionless and compromise-free experience that puts the ease of use alongside those first-rate results that you expect as a Gomo customer. Now let's take a quick look at the agenda of all of the different items we'll see today. So we'll talk a little bit about Gomo, because although I can see many people in the audience who are already Gomo customers, we also see new faces and new names in the audience that will just give a little bit of an update about what Gomo is and then how AI can, of course, support with your content creation. We're going to have a look at very quickly, well, how do I access Gomo AI? Because I know there'll be customers on the call today who say, well, actually, I've not used Gomo AI yet, so how would I use it? And then the very exciting part, which we'll build up to, is when colleague Hugh here, he's going to talk through, not just talk through like me, he's going to show you. He's going to show you how all of these features work in Gomo. And again, you're going to see a sneak peek, sort of behind the scenes, of some of the features that are going to be coming out very, very soon. We'll have a quick glimpse into the AI future. And then very importantly, as Hugh and I feel very, very passionate about, and you'll know that from conversations in the past, is capturing your feedback. So there'll be features that we are considering, and we would like to see which ones would add value to you, and you'll have the opportunity to do that at the end of the deck. So let's take a look at some of Gomo's key features. So the Gomo Learning Suite provides multi-award winning products that allow you to create, deliver, update, and track beautiful multi-device e-learning. With Gomo authoring, you can create truly responsive and adaptive HTML5 content that looks perfect on all devices. So you don't need to worry about being pixel perfect. It's going to work and look wonderful on your desktops, your tablets, your smartphones. And also with our additional suite that we have with things like Gomo Delivery, Engage, Bridge LMS, and Analytics, you can also get your content into the hands of learners instantly via things like websites, direct link, our LMS wrappers, social media, and of course with full XAPI analytics. But just to name a few, let's have a look at some of the key features that you get with your Gomo subscription. It's fully cloud-based and collaborative, so of course all you need to do is log in to access the tool. Gomo AI, as we'll see today, is feature-rich in content creation and review capabilities. It's fully responsive and adaptive, going back to how it looks wonderful no matter what the screen size or orientation. Content creation is easy. But not only is it easy, it also has powerful features in there, things like variables and display conditions, so you can create some truly exciting content. There are also many core themes to control course branding, look and feel, so you can always ensure that whether you have to put your logo, your fonts, your primary and secondary colors, you can be on brand. As we've sort of highlighted a little bit already, you can create those multi-language courses, but with many different methods available to you, whether that be via manual translation, via the industry standard XLIF export and import, but also, as we'll see today, auto translation. And you can use a combination of these all together. There are flexible layouts, screen templates, and over 30 content interactions. So these are assets that we call in Gomo, which is simple drag and drop that you'll see with Hugh's demo that you can then populate with your content, and it will provide a fantastic way of engaging your learner. You can also create accessible course output with Gomo, and we even have our VPAT on the community site if you wanted to see which assets are the ones that you would want to be using to be fully compliant. And as mentioned, finally, we have the ability to push instant LMS content updates when publishing to Bridge and to Gomo delivery. So let's take a look at Gomo AI. As we have here, we have a list of these items, and the great news is, before I talk about the detail of these, you're going to see all of these today. You can see all of these live in the demo. Because much of the focus of late with Gomo has been around incorporating the power of AI to create efficiencies for our learning designers and course contributors. And over the last few months, a series of features have been released in Gomo AI Suite, including the ability to automatically generate learning objectives. So with a click of a button, you can establish exactly what your learners are expected to get out of your content, and Gomo AI will take the care of this for you. So what it will do at this moment, it will look through all of the information in your topic, and then it will provide learning objectives based on the information within that topic that, of course, you can use as is, or perhaps you want to refine and update for your final course. You can also effortlessly produce summaries and conclusions. I know certainly this is something I've really liked, and when I have a huge amount of text, just to provide a little bit of a summary for me that we can put, of course, at the start of your e-learning. Because it can be hard work, as I say, with all that information. So why make it more difficult? This can take some of that effort away and take that strain by just rapidly digesting that content from your topic and distilling it down into its essentials, providing the perfect way to augment your courses with accurate summaries and conclusions as well, which we'll see all of these. And very soon, which is why you're seeing it even in our sort of own staging environments at the moment, is AI review. So even the best content can benefit from a review. When you keep looking at something, perhaps you're going to miss something that would be obvious. And this is where AI can be very helpful, where it's going to look for spellings, it's going to look for consistency, if there's any contradictions, and it's going to suggest improvements. And what that's going to do is populate it, as you'll see soon, on a panel where it's not going to tell you that that's absolutely what you should do, but it's like having another pair of eyes to say, hey, you may want to consider making this change. So at least in that point, it reinforces whether it's something you wanted to do or not. So you'll see how helpful that can be. And as we've already highlighted a few times in terms of translation capabilities, because they're so strong within Gomo, because you can have a single course with multiple languages within it, we're able to do this now with using full course translation with AI. We already have asset translation, which you'll also see today. So that's where you can select a particular asset, use Gomo AI, and it will translate it into the chosen language layer. But we'll have the full course as well as that. So let's take a quick look at how can you access all of these great features. We're talking a lot about this, but what do we do to actually enable this if we're already a Gomo customer? Well, the great news here is that we currently use OpenAI. OpenAI is the AI house behind this that is powering all of the Gomo AI services. So at the moment, that is powered by GPT-4 Turbo. And at the simplest level, that model determines the generated content from a given input. But what's important if you're a customer and you already have an OpenAI account is that as long as your OpenAI account is a funded account, so not a trial, basically, as long as it's had credit added to it, you can take the API key, you can contact your Gomo account owner, they will see the integrations panel, and they'll be able to paste the OpenAI key into that, and that will unlock all of these AI powered features for you. What's really important, we get many questions around this, is that since Gomo integrates with OpenAI, the only place you're sending data to is your pre-existing OpenAI account. So you can rest assured that your data security is there for maximum peace of mind because it's your account that you're already handling. Gomo does not handle any of that data with OpenAI. So of course, with anything like this, it sounds very simple and it is simple. But if you needed any help with that at all, please do, of course, reach out to us. We're happy to help ensure that's set up with you. So now I've covered a little bit about Gomo, Gomo AI features, and how you can access our AI features. I'm very excited to hand over to Hugh to demo these features today, which includes some of the behind the scenes development of Gomo AI, as I mentioned, sneak peek. So, Hugh, when you're ready, let's take a look at this in action.
Great, thank you, Simon, and thank you for the introduction. So, yeah, let's actually have a look at exactly how these AI features work. And also, what I'm going to be doing is we realize that some of you are completely new to Gomo. So, we're just going to go through the process of jumping into Gomo and building a course, and then having a look at how AI then helps us with that course. So, let me just adjust my screen here. Okay, and what I wanted to do first of all is just pick up on Simon's point about how do you start using these AI features. For those of you who are already Gomo customers, then what it requires is just to have a one-off setup process, and this can be done by the account owner of your Gomo account. The account owner will see this integrations tab here. This is where we can set up integrations, for example, with our Bridge LMS, our Go Engage platform. But the one we're interested in here is OpenAI. And there's a link here into a support article there on the community portal, which will tell you exactly what kind of account you need. But you simply get your API keys there and your ID from your OpenAI account, put those in there. And as I mentioned, the crucial thing here is that Gomo is just linking to your own OpenAI account. So it's not trying to send it anywhere else. I know that people are really concerned about what's going to happen to our content. Is it sort of going out into sort of some Gomo sort of AI cloud out there and we'll lose control and copyright and so forth? That it's going to your own OpenAI account. And I know that a lot of our customers are even setting up their own internal OpenAI system. So this is how it would be configured there. But let's jump into Gomo itself, and let's just get back to basics with Gomo here. So it is entirely cloud-based. You don't install any software. As you can see, I happen to be on a Mac using Chrome, but of course I could be on Windows using Edge or Chrome. So whatever your standard platform browser is, then Gomo will work with it. So let's jump in and build a new course that we're then going to get the Gomo's AI assistant to help us develop. So I'm going to click on Create a New Course on the left. So Gomo just asks us a series of questions to get us up and running. We can change all of this later, but it's a quick and easy way to get the course created. So I'm just going to give it a name, something imaginative like AI webinar. Now, importantly here, that I can create a multi-language course. And this is really one of Gomo's key strengths as well, that you can create a single course that contains multiple languages, that you don't somehow have to build different language versions of the course and glue them together in some way. It's a single course. The learner can choose to switch between the languages as they work through the course. And it also tracks as a single course in your LMS as well. So here, either when I first build the course or later on, obviously you don't have to decide all the languages up front. Inevitably, you'll be able to want to add more languages later on. But here, as I build it, I can add in from this long list of languages here. So I'm going to choose Arabic as a right to left language because I want to show you what great support Gomo has for right to left languages. And also, we can choose not only a particular language, but regional variations as well, which can become really important in terms of translation and making sure it's appropriate for the particular learning audience. I'm going to choose, say, Mexican Spanish here. Update that. So it's showing me I've now got some languages in there. Let's click next. Now, this is about selecting the look and feel of your course. So, Gomo uses what we call themes. These are style templates, which you can set up to reflect your brand in terms of fonts and colors and so on. So, I'm going to select Ponte, and then we can use our theme editor to really tweak that and match the brand. So, I'm going to select Ponte. And this is about the structure of a Gomo course. So remember that a Gomo course isn't just like a PowerPoint deck where you start at the first screen and move to the end screen, and that's it. You can structure your course into higher level building blocks, essentially the storyboarding level. These building blocks we call topics. So I might have a topic about the company's history, something about the company's products and services, and so on. And in turn, those topics are broken down into a sequence of screens that the learners work through, and they can be joined together in different ways. So I'm going to say I want an introduction leading to a menu. I could say that I think I need 4 learning topics to start. These are all the elements which appear in the toolbar, so they'll always be available to the learner as they move through the course, such as glossaries, so they can look up a word or a phrase they don't understand. Now, in this case, I'm making this multi-language, so I want the learner to be able to switch between languages. Let's click Create. So Gomo's just working through the languages that I want. It's creating layers for those. It's looking at the topics and the theme to apply the branding. It's going to create an outline course structure for me. And it's going to put in some sample content, which is how we're going to get going with the AI assistant. So here's my top level view of the topics. So I've got an introduction leading to a menu, simple branching out to the learning topics. But the great thing about Gomo as well, you can create more complex, more interesting learner journeys. So for example, you could have some dynamic branching. The learner is prompted to select their job role or job function. Gomo remembers that choice, and then what the learner sees on any given screen, or even their whole journey through the course, depends on the choices they've made. So it's the same course, it's just adapting itself to choices that the learner makes. Okay, let's just quickly preview this and see what content Gomo's already given us, and then we can begin to use the AI assistant to take us further. So I'm going to select Preview, opens another tab. It's going to apply that theme to the structure, to the content here. And so we can just have a look at how all of this fits together and then just jump into the editor. So things like the blue of the toolbar, that's coming from my theme that I can change. It's given us some content like help and glossary ready for us to start adding there. Fonts and so forth are coming from my theme that I can change. It's generated a menu for me. If I go and hit, it's given me some sample content here. We've got some content that talks about Gomo, its features and benefits. We have another screen about that, about responsive and adaptive design. And of course, don't forget from here, you can also just check how this would look across any screen size. As I mentioned, it's fully responsive. On a tablet, it just reflows the text. And of course, on smartphone, it just restacks those columns there, reflows it. So it still fills the screen, still a great experience, even on smartphone. So we know that we've got some content in there. So let's go in and start editing this topic here. So click on this, it opens up the editor. Let's have a look at how the editor works and where the AI assistant fits in. And by the way, don't forget that you've got the question panel there. Please do feel free to put in any questions or comments, and we'll be having a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar today. So here we are in the editor. On the left-hand side, I have 2 screens that Gomo's added in. I can have as many screens as I want in there. And when I click on one of those screens, it loads the content and the content area. Now, the important things here is there's no canvas size to this. We don't have to fuss about nudging things to be 100 pixels and so forth. We work in these blocks and columns, and that's how Gomo will reflow that. Also, I don't need to worry about fonts and colors and branding. My theme will take care of that. We can go into an instant preview. And when I'm editing text, there's no font button. I select a style, put in my text, And I can see that reflected there. So, so all I have to do is focus on the learning content. Gomo takes care of making sure it's going to be on brand. It will take care of making sure it works across any screen size, any device. But we have a wide range of these different elements, what we call assets in Gomo, that can be added in. That we have audio that we can add in, video. We can embed content, say, from YouTube or Vimeo. We've got a wide range of what we call the presentation assets, such as film strips and carousels to show sequence of images and associated text. Can have interactive images, so you can click on different parts of an image, maybe show more information or jump to another part of the course. But add a bit of gamification with the countdown time. Maybe you've got 10 seconds to answer a question. And of course, we've got a wide range of question types, useful things like multiple choice select from list, but also the more interactive ones like drag and drop, text input. And we can set up assessments either as a fixed set of questions, so learners see the same questions in the same order, or we can be pulling in questions from question banks at random. So a certain number of questions about the company's history, a number of questions about products and services, and mix those about. So each time a learner does the assessment, they'll see different questions in a different order. But let's go back and have a look, first of all, at how we would do translation. So up until now in Gomo, that we've had sort of two ways to do translation. That here in the editor, that you have these different language layers, and some of our global customers have just let the teams in the different regions go in and just type in their content directly. Or that you could choose to send this out for translation. And the way that that works there is that you simply choose the translation export option, and that would extract all of the text in a format, the so-called XLIF format, that you could send to any translation agency. They would understand the format, they'd translate it and send it back to you. And that's a fantastic way. And there's still going to be many occasions where you'll want to use human translation agencies. Maybe it's sort of content that might have legal implications with the wording. But the feedback that we've had from our customers is that generative AI has now got so good that in many cases it would certainly do the job. It will be good enough for our customers. So the way that that works is that I could choose, we'll now have this translate with AI option there. And what that will do is take the entire course with the languages that I've selected. It will send it to your OpenAI account and request it to translate not only the particular language, but the region as well. And then that would just return the translation. That would just automatically populate the entire course. So that's your actual course translated. Now that would take a sort of obviously a few minutes to process through and so forth, but let's have a look at another way that we can use this, so-called asset translation. So the use case here might be that you've already had the course translated, maybe you've sent it out to a translation agency, but then you make some edits to the course and you don't want to send the whole thing out for translation again. So what we can do with the asset translation here, if I just switch, for example, to the Arabic layer here, let me just click on that. So I can just take one bit of text, and now on the right, I just zoom in a bit there, you'll see that we've got a translate to Arabic button. And wherever you see this little bot icon, that's the Gomo AI assistant feature. So I can just click there, and it's just sending that text off to OpenAI and requesting a translation there. And I'll just switch to the Spanish layer. And this time, to say, translate this to Mexican Spanish. Off it goes again. There we go. Same with this text here as well, and so forth. And again, this is purely using our own OpenAI account here. So we'll be using your OpenAI account. And just go back to Arabic there, and let's just complete that there. And now I'm just going to go into the preview here, and let's see how that would look to the learner. So here I am in the English version, and then I can just choose to switch that to the Arabic version. Now notice here, we not only have the translated text, and not only has Gomo right aligned the text, here, it's also changed the whole visual layout. So automatically it's moved that image was on the right in a left to right language. It's moved over to the right. It's moved the navigation panel here over to the left. And in fact, we now click the what in a left to right language would be the back button to move to the next screen. And that's all happening automatically for us. So you don't need to spend time creating a right to left version. And here I can switch into the Spanish version as well. So that's the first thing that we have in terms of the AI assistant is the translation part. Certainly top of the feature list from the feedback that we had with our customers as we've been developing this. So again, either full course translation or just individual elements here that we can translate. But let us move on and have a look at how Gomo can really help you as learning designers in terms of giving you ideas and inspiration as you begin to build the content. What I'm going to
And
do here,
Hugh's
I'm
just
just,
signing here.
yeah, hi Simon.
Hi, Hugh. It's just a great question. It's just come in as you're doing that. I think it's probably appropriate timing. I can see a question from Jackie that I don't have the bot in the translation here. So am I missing something? So, Jackie, all I would expect there at the moment is that you don't have the OpenAI integration enabled. Or if you do have it enabled, it will only show if you have additional language layers. So as Hugh had shown you
Mm.
there, when he selects Arabic or he selects Spanish, you'll see the bot. If it was just in the default language, it won't show. So it'll be one or the other.
Yeah, that's a great point, and thanks for the question, Jackie. So yeah, so here, if I'm just in the default language here, in my case, English here, there's no AI bot. It's only when we add these language layers in that you'll actually see that the AI bot pops up here. And again, that will only be enabled if you've configured your Gomo account to work with your OpenAI account. But thanks for the question. That's a great point. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to go back and I'm going to add in a new screen here. And I'm going to put that to the beginning. So we already have some content which talks about Gomo and its features and benefits and so forth. But here at the start, I'm actually, well, actually, I want to be able to introduce this subject, and I'm not quite sure how to really create an introduction piece of text. So this is now where we can go to the Gomo AI tab here on the left-hand side. And first of all, what I can do is to drag the introduction assistant over here. So what's happening here is that Gomo is sending the content in this topic, so the whole topic, it's sending it to OpenAI and it's asking it to create an introduction. So here we go. It's looked at the text that's in this topic and it's suggesting that this is the text that you might want to consider. But the important thing, of course, this is only a suggestion. It is just creating a piece of text. You can go in and just edit all of that, and you can choose not to have any of it at all. But it's there to support learning designers. And the whole thing that we found is that what learning designers want is rather than staring at a blank screen, let the Gomo AI assistant help you. I can do the same to say, could you suggest some learning objectives based on this content? So what I can do here, just go back to my navigator panel. And let's just do a refresh. Okay, let me just save and close that and we'll come back in. And click here.
And Hugh, just in the background, I'm just going to add a support article for how you can set up your OpenAI so people have a resource to take away because we have some questions about how we did that at the start.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, it's all there on our site. So thank you for putting the link there, Simon. Okay, so now what I'm doing here is asking it to come up with some suggestions for learning objectives. And again, all of this is all editable, but we can see that it's come up with 4 suggested learning objectives based on the content that's in this topic. So again, it's a starting point for learning designers. It's suggesting these based on the content. Apply that. And then also here, I could say, well, at the end of this topic, I'm going to add a screen in here. And now I'd like to have a conclusion. I want some help in summarizing the content in this topic. So again, I just drag and drop the conclusion. And here again, so this is what Gomo is AI assistant is suggesting would be quite a nice conclusion. So it's saying in conclusion, it provides powerful intro to platform, etc., etc. So again, that's different from the introduction text. It's actually realized that it's actually a conclusion that we're writing there. And again, it acts as a starting point. So those are the Gomo AI tools that are currently available. Once you've configured your OpenAI account, all of these will be enabled for you. But today we want to go further than that. We want to give you a sneak preview here. We're super excited. So this is of our new AI helper here. And what I'm going to do to show you the way that works, I'm just going to add in a couple of screens in here, and I'm going to add in some more text that I'm going to ask Gomo AI to give me assistance with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop in some text here. And let me just
And, and Hugh,
put
as
in
you
some.
do that, I'm just going to answer a question just that we have here from Paul as well. So you probably may have just sort of missed that as we went over it, but you're asking based on the content, what is it specifically looking at in terms of OpenAI? Well, what it was looking at in what Hugh was showing with learning objectives, conclusion, summary, is that all of the text within that topic, so all the screens within that topic, all the text within each screen is all being sent away to OpenAI to generate the conclusion, the summary, and the learning objectives based on the text. So that is what it's taking at this moment.
Yeah, that's a really good point as well, because we do get asked, well, is it somehow just looking for the word learning objective sort of within the text content, or is it looking for the word summary? No, it's actually looking at all of this content in the topic, and it's then generating the summaries, conclusions, and the learning objectives based on its understanding. And this is a really, really clever thing, based on its understanding about what this content is about. So it's not purely doing some kind of word matching, it's actually generating this new content from the existing content. But see, a great point, really interesting point there, and it's really exciting to see it in action there. Okay, so what I'm doing here is that, first of all, I'm putting in some additional content here. I'm making a statement here that cars can fly faster than a spaceship, the world is made of chocolate. So, in some ways, nonsense things, but with some kind of meaning, but maybe out of context here. And I'm going to do another screen here. I'm going to put in some more content. And here I'm going to just, again, just put some text in here. Okay, so I'm putting in a statement here that's a bit confused. It's all about maybe cars can fly and whether anybody believes them, and but it's all a bit can sort of see what I mean, but it's not very well presented there. And also here, I can just maybe I'm going to label the screen as well there. Okay, so I've added in two screens to add to the content. But now what I'm going to do is actually ask Gomo AI to review what we have in this topic and to give some thoughts, some opinions to sort of help me maybe refine this content. So all I do here is click on review topic content. And it's examining all of the content in this topic, but it's looking at it from the perspective about, well, sort of what's right, what's wrong with this here. So let's have a look. Let me zoom in a bit more there to make it easier to read. So on the left-hand side, it's explaining what it thinks that this is actually all about. But then it also has some comments on readability. So it's saying the content is generally clear, but benefit from more concise language and fewer technical terms for better readability. And then this is where we get to the interesting bit. It's looking at specific points here. So here, and I can click on the open content. It will take me exactly to that point. So this is the one where I'm saying about cars flying faster than a spaceship and the world is made of chocolate. It's saying content contains unrealistic statements. Cars can fly faster than a spaceship, and etc. These statements should be reviewed for accuracy and relevance. So it's saying, okay, hang about, there's something, something not quite right going on with your content there. It's this relevant, is it even accurate there? And then we have some more sort of tactical things at the spelling level. So here it's identified that I've put this screen title with a spelling mistake, and it's suggesting what it should be instead of there. And now here, if I click on open content, this is where I had this rather confusing thing about, some people say that cars can fly, maybe they've seen it or not. And it's picked me up on that. So this is the comment that it's made. For a start, it's saying that it's where I've got I capital T, it should be capital I, lowercase t, apostrophe s. And can't should be can't, so it's correcting my sort of spelling and grammar there. And there it's actually saying, well, actually, this sentence is quite long and could be really, it could be broken down for better readability. So it's forcing me there just to have a think and to go back there. And if I rerun this, it could then also then suggest maybe a rewording of this as well. It might suggest how I could break down this sentence. So we're really excited about this review feature here that we're refining at the moment as a way to just guide us when we're creating content, to point out obviously things like spelling and grammar errors, but also think about this. This doesn't quite make sense. This is out of context. This is a bit confused. Think about rewriting that, and let me help you rewrite it. So I hope that that's giving you a flavour of our open AI features there. But
Absolutely. And
Simon,
Hugh,
I shall
yeah,
hand back to you.
thank you so much, Hugh. I guess just a couple of points we'll pick up on there is that, of course, thank you so much for showing this. It's fantastic to show people even early access to features like review that are still in development. And what we're also able to do with that is, as Hugh's shown, not only generate the review and provide us feedback on readability, spelling and so on. We can dismiss them individually. We can dismiss them all at once. But also, you have the ability for the first time in Gomo to export all of this information into a CSV file. So if you wanted to share any of that feedback or you wanted to archive that feedback, you're able to do that very, very easily. Also, if you had a piece of content where perhaps there are no spelling errors or no suggestions to be made, it will actually provide you with the feedback that, hey, your topic looks great. There's nothing that we can suggest. And something that I think is worth sort of focusing on is that this is very much an assistant. It doesn't mean that's absolutely what you want to do to change your course, but it might be something you want to consider changing if it was something around readability or as she was written, which I would really much, very much like if there was more chocolate. But saying the world is made of chocolate might have been a deliberate decision in your learning design. But at least if it wasn't, it's picked up the fact for you to say, oh, it was. So yes, I just dismissed that. So it's very much there as your helper to help you through with your content creation. We also had another great question about the AI add-on. Is it an additional price, Hugh, within Gomo? Is this something we have to pay for?
Yeah, that's a great question. A really exciting answer is no. The ability to link to your OpenAI account is just there, that comes with your subscription. You just automatically get that feature uh, with your subscription. And as we release these new features like the review ones, of course, because Gomo is cloud-based, you'll automatically get those. So all you'll be paying for is your actual OpenAI subscription, but there's no additional Gomo cost.
Thank you so much, Hugh.
Great. Well, Simon, let me hand back to you.
Brilliant, excellent. So, yeah, just have a quick scan. I realise we've covered some of the questions, just could have been very appropriate in the moment where we're actually seeing this live on our screen. So, I'll just flick my camera back on as well, Hugh. This is more exciting news. Honestly, it's been a very exciting week for AI in the industry. So, anyone that's been reading up and seeing about the releases that's been happening so far, we have the latest version of GPT 4.0. that was announced this week. And like I said, I encourage anyone that hasn't seen it, go and have a look at the release videos from OpenAI and what this can do. But of course, with the focus on today, with what that means from a Gomo perspective, is that what I can say is I'm very, very excited about this and what it's going to do to bring more benefits to you using Gomo AI with your Open AI subscription. So, what Hugh was actually showing you today was already using GPT 4.0. Now, what we're going to be doing for the public release is very early, Q3. You'll see there'll be an announcement where once we've fully tested all of it with all of the features that we have already, and we're happy with that, we will be making use of GPT 4.0 for you when integrating with your OpenAI account. Now, why do we do this? What does this mean? Is it just a new version for the sake of a new version? Well, what I can say to you is no, there's much more to this. You'll see some of those headlines on the bullet points. So, particularly from a Gomo perspective, it is almost twice as fast. And in the testing that I've seen so far, it absolutely is. And also, what we've seen is it is, virtually 50%. It's virtually half the price in terms of the token usage. So, something that's twice as fast and half the price and is costing no more from when you're using it from an OpenAI perspective is just amazing to see in this industry. And as Hugh has said, as a Gomo subscription, you don't need anything else for Gomo to use your OpenAI account. As soon as you add your OpenAI account to Gomo, all of these features become available and they're getting faster and they're getting more affordable to use. So
Simon,
let's have, yeah, of course, Hugh.
sorry, I was just going to jump in here because we've had a few more questions just
Oh,
relating to
let's
the
have a look.
costings here that might be relevant to pick up now. So Sue's asked, so to confirm, we do need to have subscribed to OpenAI in order to benefit from these features.
That is
And
correct. Exactly. Yeah. As we'd heard earlier on, all of that is so that you're using your own account where you're going to be controlling how your data is used with OpenAI. So if you was to open a new OpenAI account today, you would just need to make sure that you have credited that account. So whether you'd put, $5 in that account, that would then allow that account to be used. It gives you the API key. You can put that into Gomo and for other applications, I may add, it's just that Gomo will support that for you.
also, this follows on. Carol's asked the question about, can you confirm there is an OpenAI subscription cost? I would just mention there that yes, there is, but of course, what we do know is that many of our customers, the enterprise level customers, are actually building their own internal AI systems based on OpenAI. So it might be a conversation internally within your organization to see exactly how that would work to link that into Gomo. But it would require essentially an open AI account, whether that's one internal to your organization or a paid for subscription with OpenAI itself. Thank you, Simon.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much, Hugh. And these questions are fantastic. Just keep them coming in. We're very much sort of at the leading edge with this integrating AI. Providing the benefit for sort of content creation. And our initial implementation is allowing you to use, as Hugh said, if you have already organization AI accounts with OpenAI, you can use those API keys, or you can go and set up an account and utilize that as well. But if you're using something different, if there's another way that your organization is going to be implementing AI, let us know. Put it in the chat. Let us know what you're doing. It's very important to us that we understand, going into 2025, what that looks like, because AI is only going to become more ubiquitous with everything that we use. And I think that probably leads us on very nicely, Hugh, onto sort of this is the final part of our presentation. This is where we're just going to talk about some of our future considerations here and where we really are going to want your feedback. With what we'll have after this is we're going to have a poll where you'll have the opportunity to sort of vote on the things that you would see useful to you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what they mean. So at the moment, we are considering the following AI features to move on to our discovery stage to see how we'd be able to implement these within Gomo AI. Starting with image generation, I'm sure you'll have seen many of these things, going around the internet and social media, but we are considering, is it of value to you, to our customer, where you'll be able to create an image within Gomo, using something like a Gomo wizard to help you create that image, finalize it, and implement it within the design of your course. Also, full course generation. So, based on selections, AI would be able to create an entire course, complete with text, images, and interactive questions. Is course generation something you would see value in? AI assistant. So, taking a look at, similar to earlier, where we have a look at all of that topic information, but having a look at all of the entire course information, if that's what you'd want to choose, taking all of that content and providing you with a selection of questions that you could choose to use in an assessment or as knowledge check questions. Is that something that could be of value to you? And then finally, text to speech. So with text to speech, you'd be able to select, Gomo assets which contain text, some of which we've seen earlier today. Add the style, tone, language of the voice to create an audio file that you could then use within your course design. And of course, if there are features, which I'm sure there are many, if there are any other features at all that you are thinking about at the moment, you would love to see in Gomo, just add them in the chat for Hugh and me as well. I'd love to see that. But if we could just take a few moments of your time to move on to our poll, where please do select not just the only one. If you'd like to see all four, select all four. Select as many as you would like in terms of what you would like to see as an AI powered feature in Gomo. So we'll give you just a few minutes to make the selection here. And again, if it's not in here, obviously, please do add it in there in the chat as well for us. It's a wonderful opportunity for us all to share and capture feedback. Fantastic. I can see all of these coming in, Hugh, already. This is great, guys. Keep them coming. We can see assessment questions is currently leading the way. Very close behind, we have image generation and joint at the moment, text to speech, and full course generation. I can see also we've got questions coming in, so I'm going to have a look at these as well.
And Simon, I'm just going to end the poll there.
Okay, thank you so much, Hugh. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for the feedback. We could see that it was very much evenly split between AI assessment, text to speech, image generation, and I think course generation just pipped it at the top. So we can see that clearly a lot of these have value for our audience here, which is fantastic to see. And as I've mentioned, please do just add anything else that wasn't on there because it'd be impossible to cover everything, particularly in this industry where it's just moving at such an impressive rate. So our final screen of the day is, of course, we'd love you to, if you haven't already, say, I know we've got an audience here where we've got some Gomo customers, and we have some new, attendees here today. If you would like to see Gomo, you'd like to try Gomo, please do go to gomolearning.com. You'll see a free trial button. Click on that, and you can get access to Gomo for 21 days. And of course, I'd be more than happy to talk through your requirements and showcase, how this could work for you. So do contact us. And in the remaining moments, let's have a quick look at the questions, Hugh. I know I had one here about there's been a lot of conversation about OpenAI, which of course there is because that's what we've sort of integrated with as a start. But will we be providing the option to integrate more AI tools? Fantastic question. And I think that is something we're going to see more and more with applications, particularly over the 6 to 9 months. The short answer is at the moment, we are using OpenAI. We've chosen to go that way so you can control the way your data is being used with your OpenAI account that you're going to integrate. But absolutely, this is something we want to consider. If we have many customers that are using other AI solutions and they would like to be able to use them with Gomo, keep us up to date. Let us know which AI solution you're planning to use, because I do see a future where there'll be more than one AI that we use within applications, and we would love to know more about that.
Fantastic. And Lawrence has asked a question, Simon, about are there any plans to give end users access to the AI capabilities so they can ask questions about the course they've just studied, which is an interesting one.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think that's a great question. I suspect this is going to be more on the LMS side, with where you're hosting your content and what that might do to capture feedback around that and provide learning suggestions and things like that. But from the Gomo output perspective, no. But we work with our friends and colleagues at Bridge LMS, and it's certainly something we can pass that feedback on to see is that something they're looking at from an LMS perspective. But I'm sure there's going to be many applications that look into how you can use AI to provide more feedback end to end.
Fantastic. Thank you, Simon. Well, I can't see any other questions that have come in. That I think we've been picking those up as we're going along. But thank you all very much for those really interesting and important questions. Obviously, you can just any further questions if you're already a Gomo customer, just send us a support ticket with a question, or just email us at contact us at gomolearning.com, and we'll be very happy to answer any questions or any ideas you have for Gomo and AI.
Thank you so much,
And
Hugh, and thank you, everyone.
yeah, thank you, everyone. Don't forget to look out for our future webinars. I think we'll be back to our Wednesday times and the usual time and day from next week. But really appreciate you tuning in to this extended version of the weekly webinar, and hope that you found it valuable. Thank you.